Thank you. Oh, yeah, that coffee is the spot. All right. Get this live started up. Happy New Year's Eve. It's been a minute. It has been a minute, fellas. Got a different type of fire behind us tonight. We're going to wait for some people to hop in here. It's been probably 2.5 months, 2.5 months, 3 months since I went live. So might take a second for some people to get in here. Might take a second for some people to get in here. But when you do enter, be sure to drop a hello in the chat, a happy New Year's Eve. Want to know where you guys are at in the country, what's going on. Is this a gaming live? You're funny, TJ. You're funny. Man, all my AirPods, all my wireless stuff, man, is all dead and frankly a little unreliable. So I decided to just roll with the gaming headset, man. I was playing some Call of Duty earlier. You know, it's the holidays. We got to relax, do our thing. What's up, Smokey? Good to see you, brother. Yeah, man, we got a little bit of a different fire started this tonight. Not a smoker fire. This thing's just getting started. It's a little chimenea. I got it, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks ago. Still trying to kind of get it warmed up. For those of you who don't know, if you've never had one of these, they're made of clay. So that clay absorbs moisture when it's just sitting there ready to be sold. And so you got to break it in. You got to get a few fires going in it before it actually will come up to the proper temp. It's got to get rid of all of that moisture out of the clay. So I think we're almost there. I think this is the third fire. So maybe after this one, it'll get going a little bit hotter. But it feels good enough now. It's not too hot outside today. Or cold, rather. Bar and Q, what's up, man? Says, miss your videos. Hey, I know. I miss making them for you guys. You know, the lives we haven't done in like 2.5, 3 months, and I definitely missed the lives, the actual videos. It was just starting to get a little tough to do actual straight YouTube videos with the restaurant, just because I had myself, my wife, and Savea work in the restaurant. So the latter half of the week really was us running and gunning, doing what we had to do to make sure our customers were satisfied. And so I didn't have a whole lot of time to make just straight up YouTube videos. But it's definitely something I miss too. I might need to get back to making some videos. So a lot's happened, guys, in the last 2.5, 3 months. I know a lot has happened for us at Kirby's and myself personally. And I'm sure with you guys as well. So definitely want to know what's going on with you guys. There we go. Brighten that up a bit. Definitely want to know what's going on with you guys. So definitely put it in the chat. And any questions you guys have, I wanted to come on here because I got some free time and chat with you guys. It's been a minute. Also, the Boys Barbecue Reviews put out their top 25 list of barbecue places. I think they said they went to 43 barbecue places, if I'm not mistaken. Someone, TJ can correct me if I'm wrong on that. It was in the 30s or 40. I think it was 40. I think it was 43, something around there. But we got ranked number 8, which is awesome, out of 25 places that they went to. And I'll just kind of read the list off that they have here. It's actually really cool, man. So the first 5, they had Redbird at number 1. They scored them a 9.3. They had Burnt Bean at number 2 with a 9.2. Barbecue at number 3 with a 9.2. Rosemeyer 9.1 at number 4. They're right around the corner for me, actually. Then they had Mimsy's Craft Barbecue in Crockett. They were ranked number 5 with a score of 9.0. Then at 6, Bar 7, Truth, 8, Kirby's Barbecue, 9, Goldie's. So we beat out Goldie's, which is pretty awesome since they were number 1 just a few years ago in 2021 on the Texas Monthly list. But it was cool to make the top 10 and to beat out Goldie's on the list. Then you had Pinkerton's at 10, Heffernan at 11, Corkscrew at 12, La Barbecue 13, Harlem Road at 14, Franklin's at 15. Then we had La Cruda at 16, Helleberg at 17, Coy at 18, uh, J Bar M at 19, Weaver's at 20, Pizzatolas at 21, Miller's 22, Space City Barbecue at 23. Then to round out the list, you had LJ's Barbecue and number 25, Chicano's Barbecue. So very cool to see. Very cool to see that list. Now, the boys, they live in the Houston area, so that's why you see a big, heavy influence on the Houston area barbecue joints. But they did venture out to some other places. But yeah, Houston was repping real strong on this list. Happy to see that, and happy to see we were actually able to beat out a lot of the places as well from Houston. That's cool. What we got in the chat? Um, Bar and Q said, "How's business going, man?" So we decided to shut down the New Caney location, man. We decided not to open up after Christmas, and we're still trying to figure out plans for Kirby's Barbecue for 2026. Still have the smoker, still have my food warmer. It's the main two things you need, really. So may end up doing some catering, may end up doing some events. Definitely have some things in the works with the boys. So we will see. We will see what the future holds. Definitely still have the YouTube platform with all of you guys, right? Definitely have our school where we're coaching guys on their barbecue businesses. And there's a few restaurants, but it's mainly pop-ups and food trucks, food trailers. But the brand's not dead, guys. You know, I know for my locals and my people who come by the restaurant, it's going to be very disappointing for them that we're not going to be opening it back up in 2026. But that doesn't mean the brand's dead. That doesn't mean the dream's dead. You know, and lists like this, making lists like this, and ranking high definitely reminds me of that as well. There's a lot of ways to make it in this barbecue game aside from having a brick and mortar. So we'll see. You know, right now I have been shopping the smoker around just because when we're closing a restaurant, we're trying to get some money out of the venture that we put into it. But if I don't get any offers that I'm happy with on the Death Star smoker, then it's going to be coming and sitting in this backyard, and we're going to be whipping it up probably most weekends because that's what I'm used to doing, and making a bunch of YouTube videos for you guys. So for those of you guys who aren't in the Houston area, that could be a good thing. A lot more content possibly, especially if we bring the smoker back to the house and start doing our thing there. And if I do that, I'm definitely going to do a lot of community events. I definitely want to do something that Greg from Brisket Daddy has been doing. He's done a couple times here, feeding the homeless, stuff like that. Just community type stuff I think would be good, along with the YouTube channel and the school. Smokey IT said, "Great company to be in. Top 50 on the horizon in 2029." Yeah, man. Yeah, if I hadn't put in if I hadn't closed the New Caney location, but like I said, we don't know what the future holds, man. We don't know what the future holds. So we'll see. But that was a thing, right? Is we had Daniel Vaughn come. He wrote a good article on us on Texas Monthly. We were very grateful for that. We had the boys barbecue come through several times. We made their list. And we got a lot of good publicity. Our Google reviews are fantastic. We had great food, great customer service. But the location where I was at and in this Houston area, man, it is a tough business to be in. So it was just the right decision to make, I think, for the time. And we realized, like, hey, the Texas Monthly up and comers list comes out in a little under 2 years, right? Which would be great. But that big top 50 list doesn't come out until 2029, and I wasn't willing to stick it out at that specific location for that duration of time. Not with the way sales were. Not with the way sales were. Bar and Q said, "You got this, brother. Thank you." Smoky IT. Oh wow, that is a surprise. Yeah, it was a surprise to a lot of people. We got a lot of good publicity online, a lot of good ratings, and everything. But what I always try to tell people, and this is what was kind of the foundation of the YouTube channel, is that people online make it look easy. People online make it look like, if you have good food, you're going to be just fine, and you're going to make a bunch of money, and you're going to be famous. And guys, fame doesn't pay the bills. Fame doesn't pay the bills. YouTube views don't pay the bills. Um, and when you're opening one of these restaurants, it's essentially like you're paying for a whole nother household almost. Like, I was talking to Brisket Daddy the other day, right? And I was like, yo, my rent at the restaurant is just about as much as my mortgage. So when you think about it like that, when you got a small business where all the funding is coming from you, it's almost like you got two mortgages at that point, plus all the other expenses, labor, food, electricity, utilities, firewood, all that stuff, right? Marketing. So it's a tough business, man, especially when you're kind of doing it on your own. Like, you don't have any business partners with restaurant experience, and you don't have business partners with a lot of capital or any bank loans. And that's one thing I try to teach on the channel too is, hey, don't get in over your skis. We never took out any big bank loans or anything crazy. So we're not really out a bunch of money or anything like that. We had a great year in that location. We achieved a lot. We accomplished a lot. I'm proud of what we did. And we're moving on to the next chapter. And hopefully, in this next chapter, 2026, Kirby's Barbecue will evolve and adapt and grow in a different way. Grow in a different way. But how are y'all? That's a little update for Kirby's. How are y'all, man? How's your New Year's Eve going? What plans do you have? Hopefully, you guys are going to be safe. No drinking and driving. We don't need any DUIs tonight. Uh, Anybody going to the Stranger Things series finale at the movies tonight? Or are you watching it from home? What's the plan, guys? I know personally for me and my wife, we were thinking about just staying at home and watching it since we watched the entire series, from home. But we figured the finale, we wanted to be around other Stranger Things fans and just kind of experience it in the theater. So we went ahead and got tickets. So we're gonna go see it. We're gonna go see it tonight. But we got a late showing, 11 p.m. Yep, yep. Hopefully y'all can't hear the dog barking in the back, but you probably can. Smokey IT says chilling at the house, staying away from the drunk drivers. Yeah, that's usually best, man. That's usually best. Like I said, we were gonna do that too, but this has been a this has been a show that we've been watching for a long time, and we really kind of wanted the community environment of going and seeing the finale. TJ said, "Yes, we can." Of course you can, TJ. Of course you can. But yeah, I know for one thing's for certain, we're going to be definitely going to be doing some collaborative content, hopefully with the Boys Barbecue. We already have in the next couple weeks or so. I plan on going out to them, or they may come to me. We'll see what the deal with the smoker situation is. But I'm definitely going to be doing a brisket class for them. Definitely going to be doing a brisket class. Um, so I'm excited about that, especially since we ranked so highly with them on our brisket specifically, which that's that's a good moment for me, right? Pops rated our brisket number one out of everything, out of everybody's, and so did Jason. So two of the four guys said we had the best brisket on the list. So that's awesome, especially given the fact that I hadn't cooked brisket from start to finish by myself um, until I don't know, a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago is when I cooked my first brisket 100% by myself from start to finish. And we're already getting accolades like that, so that's cool. Um, my I cooked a few briskets with my grandfather, back in 2000 and we'll say 14, 15. So over 10 years ago, but he was doing majority of the work. He was doing majority of the work. But what's up, guys, man? It's been a while. I know it's New Year's Eve. I know may not get as many people on as we typically do, but I'm here for the people who are working, who are grinding, and the people who are chilling out at home and just want to be with some other people, man. Just want to be with some other people. What do you guys want to see for the future of Kirby's, man? What do you think? What direction do you think I should take the channel and the brand and everything? I want to hear what you guys have to think, and I also want to know what you guys have planned for the new year. You know, TJ's right there in the chat. He just got his 250-gallon PRM smoker pit in that beautiful, beautiful red color. So I'm excited to see what you're going to be whipping up, TJ, and what kind of events and things you're going to do. I know you're building out the trailer, so that's going to be cool. That's going to be cool. And you got all the fancy equipment, video equipment. So I'm expecting some content out of you, my friend. I'm expecting some content. But yeah, I try to tell people, you know, everybody focuses on the cooking. Everybody focuses on the cooking of the food. And yes, you do need to focus on that at the beginning for a little bit and hone your craft and know what you're doing. But at the end of the day, the business side of it is the most important. Exactly, TJ. Yep, you hit the nail right on the head. My point I just made. You need to do videos on how tough it really is to run a barbecue business. Yes, I agree. I thank you for that. Absolutely. Because like I said, you can get the cooking down, and you should, and you need to, but the business side is what stops people up, and that's the real tough part. So you can have all the, you know, they say you can have the best product, but if you don't have good enough marketing, then it doesn't matter. Well, it's the same thing with the business. If you don't have the right location, the right market, the right marketing, the right amount of capital to keep growing, then that's gonna be tough. Smoky IT catering is where the money has been for me. I only do the pop-ups and plate sales to build the brand and attract catering gigs. That makes sense. Yeah. And you know, I knew that, but I wanted to build something else. You know, I wanted the brick and mortar. I wanted it. So that's what and for me that seemed like the fastest way to the money and to building the brand and a name because you know when new barbecue joints pop up, all the reviewers and stuff want to go check them out. And then also I'd ran brick and mortar restaurants before, and so I already had experience there. And I was like, hey, you know, I'm gonna dive into this. For me, guys, right or wrong, when I get into something new, when I get a new hobby, when I get something new that I want to do business wise, I dive all the way in. And uh, for better or for worse, that's me. I dive all the way into it, and I dive deep and try to take it as far as I can. I always use this example when I say that is when I started boxing. Like I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to learn self defense. I was like, nah, I want to fight. I want to fight. Like, who's the most experienced guy in the gym? Let me spar that guy. Let me spar that guy. You guys cooking anything up? You guys cooking anything up tonight? Y'all going out? What's the plan, y'all? What's the plan? I was gonna go see my boy George at his restaurant and get some food, but they closed early. So for me, it's probably gonna be cooking at home. Probably gonna be cooking at home. Cook at home, chill out before this movie theater run. Smokey IT said I'm the same way. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's a personality trait, man. It's a personality trait. Um, you know, not only did I go into a boxing gym, what, 11 years ago, and say I want to fight, but I was like, yo, like if I could go pro at this, that'd be awesome. That'd be a dream come true. So when I was younger, I played football pretty competitively, and I wanted to play football in college and eventually go to NFL. So like professional athlete was always a career path that was interesting to me. So when I stopped playing football and started boxing, I was like, yo, if I get good enough at this, then I don't see why I can't go pro. What's up, buddy? Say Happy New Year's Eve. Good boy. We got Ollie. Ollie on the live stream. Yeah, good boy. Good boy. Bind Q says some half chickens, real simple price of beef is insane. Yeah, so you're cooking some chickens. Yeah, beef's up there. Smoky IT's cooking black eyed peas and fried fish. Okay. All right. I see you. I see you. I'll tell you what, guys, starting these fires, my problem with this chimenea and getting this fire really going is that I don't have a lot of kindling. I use some paper from a notebook and one of those I don't know what they're called, boom fire starters. But I got these big old splits from the restaurant. We're doing barbecue, and without charcoal as a nice base and a torch, getting that chimney started is not as easy as it looks. I'll tell you that. Like I said, we got a couple cooks out of it, or a couple cooks, couple lit it up a couple times, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Anybody got any questions in the chat, man? Anything y'all been needing help with? Barbecue related, business related, life related, New Year's related? You guys started making your goals for the new year? Plans? I know we got a couple guys in our school group. We're planning on doing some big things in the upcoming year. Want to hear from y'all. Definitely like TJ's idea of doing some YouTube videos on how tough the actual business part of it could be, because it certainly is. And by the way, if anyone is looking for a stand-up commercial refrigerator, I have one for sale, or a range, six burners with the oven, full size oven. It holds, uh, it can bake, it can hold two full pans. So you can definitely bake a decent amount of food in there. I'm talking about the full sheet pans. It'll fit two of those in there, or you could bake four full pans, like the catering dishes. So it's a big oven. Natural gas or propane, it can do either one. But I got those two things for sale. And I still got my fully insulated tall food warmer and the smoker. If I do end up doing caterings and events and stuff, I'll definitely keep the offset and keep the food warmer. But the fridge and the range are definitely for sale if anyone's interested. Don't need that. It takes up too much space for me. I have a new 250 gallon offset, or 250 offset direct heat smoker on order. Looking forward to doing more pop-ups and caterings in 2026. Okay, very cool. If you need any help with that, you know where to find me, man. What part of the country are you in? Bind? Like to know where you're going to be cooking at. MSL, yes, we decided to close the New Caney location. We're not going to open it back up in 2026, but that doesn't mean the journey is 100% over. Like I said, we might be doing caterings, maybe some pop-ups, some events, some charity stuff. But the location was just too slow. We'd been there a year, and although we did some great things there, we had some great customers. I hate to even put this on the community because it's not. I don't want to sound that way, but I just don't think the community around us was able to support us the way I needed them to. So, like I said, everybody got bills to pay. Everybody's got mortgages and cars and all that good stuff, and just wasn't working the way I needed it to. And at 31 years old, I decided I wanted to make a pivot. I didn't think spending the next couple of years, spending, between your 30s and your 40s, that's a very big earning decade. That's a decade in which you should be setting up the rest of your adult life and the rest of your retirement. Those are your prime earning years. I would say between the ages of 30 and 45, those are some crucial years for earning money, putting away money. I worked as a financial advisor and full time previously to doing this, and I still work in a financial advisory role part time. Do a lot of remote work type stuff with it, and mathematically, it just didn't make sense to keep the restaurant open, and I wanted to spend my greatest earning years uh, doing something to where I'd be able to make a lot of money and stack a lot of money and build a career um, doing something. So that's what we decided to do. Bind. Okay, you're in Utah. All right, so you up there with Les. You up there with Les. Hey, your average logical thinker, Mo. What's going on? Glad to see you in the live. Happy New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve. I'm surprised that this laptop light is keeping me somewhat lit in this whole dark, sky. Still trying to get this dang fire to keep going, but y'all know how that goes. I'm gonna stoke it real quick. I want you guys to put your questions in the chat. Put your New Year's Eve plans in the chat, please. While I'm getting this fire stoked, don't go anywhere. We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it going. Put your questions, comments, and your New Year's Eve plans in the chat. MSL says smart move. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just wasn't gonna spend the next 5 to 10 years trying to keep building that brick and mortar location when the odds were stacked against me. Give me a second, guys. Right. Here we go. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat. Your average logical thinker, Mo. I appreciate it. Kirby's Barbecue, great to see you. Cheers to another year. God bless you in 2026. God bless you in 2026. I hope you and your family are getting ready to have a great year, because I know God's going to bless you in that new year. You've always been such a joy to speak with, to hear from, and to interact with in the chat. So I really, really hope that you are having a great end of the year. Hope you had a great Christmas, and can't wait to see what the new year brings you. I know it'll be many blessings for sure. But yeah, guys, I mean, barbecue's great. Barbecue's fun. Barbecue is a great community. But sometimes you got to make decisions that are going to be better for your family and your financial well-being. And that's why I always tell people on the show. That's why I always try to tell people is, hey, look, all this stuff is great. We all want to be famous in the barbecue world. We all want to make great money, but don't get in over yourselves. Don't be taking out crazy six-figure loans to open barbecue joints and stuff like that, because the odds are not stacked in your favor. So stay within your price range, right? Stay within your price range. And that's what we did. We found a small location in a town that was very close to us, real kind of country, but people are moving out this way. I mean, it's not like rural or anything like that, but off a dirt road, bought all the equipment we could cash, and pretty much paid everything out of cash flow. Only problem was there's just not enough cash flow to take home. Was able to pay all the bills, but nothing extra, and that sucks. It's basically like living check to paycheck at your job, right? It is tough. And a lot of these big barbecue restaurants, don't get me wrong, like a lot of them have hustled and grind for a lot of years. Sometimes over a decade, some of these top big barbecue restaurants that are finally getting their, just dues like Burnt Bean and things like that. Um, but a lot of these places, I mean, there's a lot of money behind Terry Blacks. There's a lot of history behind Terry Blacks. There's a lot behind these places. There was a couple restaurants that popped off very quickly, like Goldie's. They got number one on the list, and I think they'd been open less than a year in 2021 when they made that list. I think less than 6 months. I don't remember exactly. Bar A, I don't know when they opened, but they popped off pretty quick too. And so for the places that either popped off really quick or they had a lot of capital to start with, that's great. That's fantastic. But that just wasn't the case for us necessarily. What I'm coaching everybody in my private group on in the new year is it's going to be all about money. It's going to be all about cash flow. It's going to be all about making the most of their time. And it's going to be heavily focused on pop ups, private events, public events where we know there's going to be a lot of people there, and catering, because I want the guys in my group to be able to learn from my wins and my losses. And that's why I've always been so open and transparent with you guys. I apologize for not really being around the last couple of months as far as on YouTube, but if you were in the school, I was around. You could always hit me up on Instagram. And yeah, we're going to keep rocking and rolling. Do my best not to abandon you guys, even though I was gone for a few months. I know TJ just got the smoker. Like I said, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. 2026 is going to be a great year. It's going to be a great year. And I think the barbecue boom is continuing. I don't think it's dying anytime soon. We got a lot of new faces in the community, not only on the pitmaster side, but also on the publicity side, the content side. That's going to really help out these barbecue joints and pop-ups and whatnot. Guys like the Boys Barbecue, guys like Bottle Chucker, all these new up and coming reviewers are doing a lot of great things for the barbecue community. And I had a guy visit from, I don't want to butcher the name, so I'm going to look it up. But him and his wife and a friend came through the restaurant. They drove all the way out here. They were going to spend the whole month of January in Texas because they're from Illinois, Chicago area, and they actually have a barbecue business there. And it is Damo Barbecue. I'll give a shout out to Damo Barbecue. They visited me, and it was great to meet them. They have a PRM pit as well, 1,000 gallon on a trailer. It was one of Paul's first ones he built, and it wasn't even PRM back then. It was under a different name, but they came through. Follow them on Instagram, guys. Tell them I sent you. Damo Barbecue. They do a Texas style barbecue with an Italian twist, and it was great linking up with them. Had a drink with them, chatted up with them for a good, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. And it was back when Paul called it HDM Smokers. HDM Smokers. So very cool to meet them. But they went through a lot of similar struggles to myself. They started off doing pop-ups, and then they had food trailer, food truck, and then they tried to open up a brick and mortar because of regulations and stuff up there where they're at. They didn't even get to open it. They said they had everything ready to go, but the county just they couldn't get them the permits, and so they went back to doing a food truck. And I think that's really where things are headed for most, is rather than doing the big old restaurants, is doing the food trailers and food trucks, and pop-ups, because it's just so much lower overhead. You don't have to deal with rent. You don't have to deal with utilities much. Um, and you get to go where the money is. You get to go where the money is, and you don't have to sit there and wait for people to come to you. That was a big, big struggle for me at the restaurant, was since we have such a small team, it was like, man, don't get me wrong, I wanted to open the restaurant every weekend and still do events and still do catering and things like. And we did do catering. We did do a decent amount of catering, especially towards the end of the year. But to do it on a consistent basis and run the restaurant was it was a challenge, personnel wise. It was a challenge. All right, guys, let's blow up the chat. Blow up the chat, guys. I can only talk by myself for so long. I sent the link to Brisket Daddy. Where's he at? Hit Brisket Daddy up on Instagram. Tell him to hop on. I know TJ's working. A couple of the guys. This was spontaneous. Otherwise, we probably have some more people on the panel. This was pretty spontaneous. Let me see if I can send the link to Snack Daddy. See if he's around. But yeah, it was spontaneous. The boys went live. They had their list. That kind of got me a little hyped and had a little bit of free time. So I was like, let me hop on here. I hadn't been here in a minute. So I'll hit you guys up. Let me see if I can get Snack Daddy on here. Da, da, da. Where's he at? Any Stranger Things fans in the chat? Anybody watching like Stranger Things going to watch the series finale tonight, either at the theater or in the comfort of your own home, away from the drunk drivers? Vine says, I have found not controlling perishable inventory helps. Yeah. I mean, we didn't really have an issue with that because being open every weekend, we didn't really have an issue with that part of it because everything got used in a timely manner as long as we didn't over order. And I've been doing restaurants for such a long time. We pretty much had that aspect of the business down. We just needed more traffic. We just needed more foot traffic. We needed more people coming to the restaurant. We needed more orders. That's really what it was. We needed more orders to be able to make what we need to make. You know, we're covering all of the restaurant expenses without, I'm not going to say without any issues, but every month, God just allowed us to make just enough money to be able to cover everything between rent, utilities, food costs, paying our employee Savea. We were able to pay it almost every single month, I would say, aside from maybe one. We were able to pay all of those expenses through the cash flow of the business. So that's phenomenal. But I definitely was not taking a paycheck. TJ said, yes, I'm going to spoil it for you. You better not. Yeah, all the early time slots because it comes out at 7, so in about 30 minutes it'll be out. But all the earlier theater releases were either they were all booked, the theater, all the tickets were bought, or there's only seats in the very front row, and I can't stand that because you got to look up the whole time on screen. It's just not enjoyable. Not enjoyable. Mo, if you're still in the chat, let me know. Are we gonna get a RCE comeback in 2026? I seen him posting a couple things today. No YouTube videos yet, but I'm looking forward to a comeback of his channel. That'd be cool. That would be cool. Yeah, man. Catering, pop-ups, events. Try to get to the big events. Try to I would say, you know, I would say that you got to build a little bit of a brand and a little bit of a name so that you can leverage that to get into these big events is what I would say. So that might be in our future there is the bigger events. Like I'd love to be able to get into the rodeo. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Do, do, do. Send this Happy New Year's Eve message. Happy New Year's Eve. It's always a great time of the year, guys. The holidays between Christmas and and New Year's. Most people are in a good mood if they're not stressed out. Everybody's out on the roads, everybody's shopping. Can be kind of hectic, but at the same time, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun, you know. Me and my wife went out, I don't know, last week after we had watched Volume 2 of Stranger Things. We were looking for Stranger Things merchandise, and boy, almost all that stuff was sold out. All the collectibles and the toys and the merch, the clothing, all that stuff. Man, them store shelves were empty. They were empty. I ordered this really cool sweatshirt. It's like a Demogorgon sweatshirt. It was pretty badass. You guys will see it on a future live. But I ordered it, and after we watched Volume 2 from the Netflix shop, and I thought it was going to be here by today so that I could wear it to the theater, but unfortunately, it will not. Unfortunately, it says it's going to be here Friday. So that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I'm just fanboying out over here a little bit. Shit you not, we probably spent $200 on Stranger Things merch the last week. I know. I'm a nerd. Yeah, man. See, some of y'all are cooking, some of y'all are working, hanging out at the house. It's gonna be a good year. I think 2026. I think as far as worldly stuff, I think 2026 is gonna be kind of crazy. This ain't a political channel, but you know everything going on with Russia, Ukraine, Venezuela. You know all the ICE stuff in the U.S. Man, it's just gonna be a crazy. I think 2026 is gonna be a crazy year. But what typically happens in these crazy years, like we had in 2020 and things like that, there's always a lot of opportunity. And for all the terrible stories that you hear, for all the wars, for all the pandemics, for all the people who are dying or this, that, and the other, losing their jobs, there's always good stuff that comes out of it. There's always stories of people that are really coming up during hard times. You know, it's not hard times for everybody, and I hope it won't be for any of you guys on the live. So I'm optimistic on a personal level for 2026, and I think you should too. You know, uh, I watch a lot of different political content, a lot of different worldly content, and things like that. And it's easy to get sucked into that stuff and think, man, the world's going to end next year. But um, you know, you got to keep your head up. You got to make plans for the new year, and you got to be optimistic about what you got going on in your personal life. Because if you're thinking too outwardly, then it's going to affect you. It's going to affect you. What you guys want to talk about? It's open. It's open. Anybody who wants to hop on the live, let me know. I'll shoot you the link. Um, I will shoot you the link, and any topics you want me to discuss, put them down in the chat, and we'll chop it up. I'm always nervous to put the stream link in the live, but we're gonna do it. See how it goes. Uh, feel free to hop on. Feel free to hop on. Let's chat. New Year's Eve. Let's do it. I'm also curious to see what's going to be the new hot thing for 2026 as far as barbecue goes, because, like somebody mentioned earlier, these beef prices are crazy. So, restaurant owners and barbecue guys, they're going to have to get a little bit more creative than just sliced brisket, I think. And I'm excited to see what comes of that going into 2026. Because when your top seller is brisket, man, it's a tough business to be in. You know, we saw the emergence of a lot of interesting saw the emergence of a lot of interesting sides this year. We saw the emergence of a lot of interesting flavor profiles people from all different backgrounds getting into barbecue and putting their twist, whether it's Italian or Middle Eastern or whatever. Where's this dang poker go? Um, so yeah, pork, yeah, pork. The thing is, a lot of people now, I mean, a lot of people still do eat pork, but there is a good segment of people who don't eat pork anymore. What we saw was we started selling a lot of turkey. We started selling a lot of turkey, which is definitely more expensive than pork, but certainly less expensive than beef, for sure. For sure. Don't mind me, guys. This is a very informal live. Get some more firewood. Bonus, I was able to take a bunch of firewood home. So that's cool. That is cool. And it's still not, this week it's been a little cold here. But Christmas, it was like 70 to 75 degrees outside here on Christmas Day. So we definitely did not get a white Christmas. Definitely didn't. But it's a little chilly out here tonight. It's been chilly this week and tonight. It's supposed to warm up, however. Supposed to warm up here towards the end of the week. So it's going to be Texas doing Texas, Houston doing Houston things. We won't get a true sustained winter or cold blast until, I don't know, man, maybe mid-January, February. Maybe mid-January or February. What's up, buddy? This dog loves the cold. Anytime it's a little bit cold outside, he loves it, man. When we got him, he just turned 2 years old. When we got him, they said he was half German Shepherd, half Husky. And they might have been right, man, because he loves the cold, man. Loves it. But yes, my advice, my closing advice for 2025 is don't open a brick and mortar unless you have a lot of financial backing. That's outside of your own money, man. I'd say if you're going to do a brick and mortar, you definitely want to use other people's money. OPM for sure. You know, definitely want to use other people's money. Let the bank lose their money if the restaurant goes down, man. Let the bank lose their money. Speaking of that, Terry Black's is opening a huge barbecue restaurant in Houston. It's going to have like I think it's an apartment complex basically attached to it, which is going to be crazy. Hey, Hallmark's Barbecue's in here. What's up, man? Good to see you in here. Good to see you. Guys, I dropped the live stream link in the chat for anyone who wants to join the live stream with me. Hop up on the panel. You can go ahead and click that link. I'll vet you before you come in. Make sure you're not a troll, and we'll get you on, man. I want to hear from you guys tonight. Definitely want to hear from y'all tonight. Oh, yeah. Top brisket, the boys barbecue reviews. Yep. That's one thing. Oh, I haven't cooked a brisket in what, two and a half weeks, man. I'm itching. I'm itching to put a brisket on the smoker, man. Move the smoker to the CJ says move the smoker to the backyard and take orders for a cook. I might have to. I might have to. This is gonna be a pain in the ass getting that smoker back here, but I think I should be able to conjure up some help and make it happen. I got plenty of space back here, man. We haven't really done anything with the backyard. We moved into this house in April. It's me and my wife's first home. We were super psyched, still super psyched. Love the house, love the neighborhood, the community that we're in, and really haven't done much. I got a little bit, you know, we set up a couple chairs over here with the chimney out here, but and it's dark. You probably can't see nothing, but I got a lot of space. Patio. We brought that I brought one of my chest freezers home. I sold the other one, brought one home just in case we do some cooks back here. Want to make sure I have enough space. Want to make sure I have enough space. So, especially for sausage, because we can definitely cold smoke that up. Bunch of it, batch make it, throw it in the freezer, and be good to go. TJ says, "Stop crying, just get it done." I know, TJ. I know it, man. Probably towards the beginning of the year, um, will be when I get it moved. We'll see. Because at some point they're going to try to get a new tenant. They've already put a for rent sign outside of the restaurant, so they're going to try to get a new tenant in there. Yep, yep. Well, guys, I'll stay on for a couple more minutes. If anybody wants to hop in, go ahead and hop in, and we can keep the conversation going. If you got questions, comments, anything in the comment section, we can do it. Otherwise, I'm a log off of here, man, and enjoy the rest of New Year's Eve. But got no problem staying on a little bit longer. No problem at all. Let's see. MSL said, "Would you say a food trailer is a better move than a brick and mortar?" Yes, yes, I would. Especially if, like I mentioned, you don't have other people's money to lean on. You don't have a lot of. I really think in a venture like this, it's really good to have a business partner who's 100% dedicated to opening a restaurant and grind it out, because you can only be in one place at a time. And that's one thing that, like I said, really irked me is, yeah, there was events and stuff that I turned down, and things that I couldn't operate the restaurant and go to that event. So unless you got like a co-owner, a team behind you that's going to be able to execute like that, then I would definitely say a food trailer. But pop-ups are fun, but it's certainly a risk. Like, you're going out, you're cooking whatever you decide to cook, and hopefully you sell it. So I would say yes, a food trailer, but do it strategically, right? Like with a food trailer, you can do caterings. With a food trailer, you can go to big events and festivals and things where a lot of people are going to be there. TJ said, "This time we know it's moving ready." Yes, yes, we do. Yep. I set up the next person very well. Set up the next person very, very well. But there's been lots of different restaurant concepts there in the past, and they've all kind of puttered out. And if talking to the landlord, I think we did the best job out of all the previous tenants as far as improving the property, as far as building a name, and as far as a business there and having a consistent flow of customers. hmm Fire's going pretty good now. Getting some heat. I can dig it. I can definitely dig it. Da, da, da. But I will have some time to start going to some of these other barbecue restaurants, since I won't be at mine on the weekend. I'll definitely have some time to go check out some of these other restaurants that I hadn't gotten a chance to go to. So that'll be fun. Definitely can do some video, some content on that. Get some behind the scenes, hopefully. hmm Well, happy New Year's Eve, everybody. If that's all y'all got, man, then I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. But I wish everybody a happy New Year's Eve. And we will catch you guys in the new year. Peace.